we are interested in Morels. When are they coming? What can we expect? Are they here yet? The way that I would begin to answer this question is go up here to explore. I just want to make sure, can you all see everything okay?
Yep, it's all
Okay.
good.
I'm going to explore. Let's explore. Um, when I click explore, I get to these observations. These are observations all over the world. You can see right here, there's Canada, California, just the most recent things folks have added, and they are of everything. So as you can see, that is, almost 200 million observations, and that's a needle in a haystack if you're trying to find Morels. It's almost as hard as finding Morels in real life, trying to find them in this giant database. But luckily, unlike in real life, you can put a filter on to find the Morels. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is click here under species, and I'm going to search MOR. Sorry, that's my friend. More. So when I did that, I just did MOR, and I got Morels and allies. It's really annoying that my friend's name is coming up here. But okay, Morels and allies. There we go. So if I didn't remember what the genus name, which is Morchella, then I could just write Morel, which is nice. But either way, I'm going to pick the broader. Whenever I'm trying to pick something, I try to pick a little broader. So I don't, if I had just picked like, Morchella americana, I'm going to accidentally filter out a lot of other kinds of morels, and we have many species in our area. If I even picked just Morchella, I might potentially filter out other similar things that are misidentified. So I'm going to pick the family just to get as much as I can. Now that I've done that, I've gone from 170 million to 35,000. So that's a good start. And you can see 60 species. So in the world, there are probably more than that, but that's what we have named. But these are not the places that we care about. These are way far away. So the next thing that I'm going to do is look at a map. And I'm going to zoom in on my map to where we are. And you can decide, it sort of depends like how we could start off a little bit broader. Let's just look at like the kind of East Coast. And I'm going to redo search and map here. Okay. And now I'm down to 13,000, and I'm going to add a filter. This filter, so when you click filters, you get this whole page, and there are all these different things. I think I probably showed this on presentations before. If I just wanted to look at all of the mushrooms here, I could click on this fungi icon, but because we have already narrowed our search to Morchella, we're only going to have fungi. So that would be redundant. But the main thing here is that I really want to narrow the time. And iNaturalist has several ways you can narrow the time. You could look at the exact date, like I could see today, but that's probably narrower than I want. I could do a range. The difficulty with the range is that, let's start with a range. We'll start with a range. So I'm just curious like about this year. So I'm just going to start from January 1st to today. We'll update it. Wow. Okay, we're down to 3. Right? That's a lot less. Just so you get a better sense of what's happening in the rest of the United States, if I include California, they have a very different morel season, and theirs have been coming up in the last 2 months or so. So you would have a lot more kind of concentrated there. But let's go back here. So some interesting, I see 3 observations. Let's check these out. Do we think these are legit? The first observation, wow, this picture looks legit, but that's interesting. February in what part of the world is this? Missouri. I don't know. Do I believe that? Like, and then I saw this comment. Do you see these comments? Come on now. Is this for real? Morels in February? So I think other people are also wondering, perhaps this person took the picture at a different time and uploaded it with this date, but I don't think we can, I'm skeptical. No offense to whoever that is. This Massachusetts doesn't sound right to me. And look, it's a dried up mushroom. So either the person literally just found a dried up mushroom in January, or maybe they had like a bag of dried morels and they took a picture of it. So again, not that helpful. And then finally, this is of interest to me. This is Bermuda. So let's look. Okay, so that's real. That's definitely a legitimate morel mushroom. It looks like a blondie. I don't know if it's Morchella americana or a different one, because actually be very curious to know what species are on Bermuda. Islands can be very interesting in terms of the way that species evolve. But I think this is probably real. And so now we know we should be going to Bermuda in February. Okay. But that leaves us kind of in a position of not having that much interesting information, because here it is March 5th, and I still don't know where to look to find morels. So I'm going to use a different filter. Instead of looking at what's already happened in the last 5 days of March, I want to know what usually happens in March and when should I start looking and where should I start looking. So I'm going back to my filter page and I'm back in the date section. I'm going to turn off this range and I'm clicking on months. You don't even have to delete that. And now I'm going to select some months. I could select whatever I wanted, but I'm just going to select March because it's the beginning of March right now. And I want to know what happens historically in March. So now this is all the Marches. Does that make sense to you guys? This is not just this March. This is not just last March. This is every March ever in the history of iNaturalist. Okay. And that's cool. So these are all the observations that have been made in March. And I think that this gives you a nice sense of the timeline of morels. As you can see, like on this heat map, it's looking hot in the south, not surprisingly, in March. And then it gets, like a little sporadic up here. Now, we're interested in our area. I mean, people may be going on vacations further south and you might want to then focus in, but I'm not going anywhere for a while. So I want to know what's happening here. And I want to know, is any of this legit? I think this is for me, these are places I might ostensibly drive. So I'm going to redo my search in this area. 24 observations. That's extremely manageable. So I feel good about looking through those with you. Okay. And another thing you can do. So now we have, just to tell you where we are, these are the 24 observations from our pretty close DMV area that have been seen in the month of March, all different years, while iNaturalist has been going on. It's all Morchella family, so it's not just one species. I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that if you scroll down here, these are almost all well, I guess there are a couple that aren't, but most of these are Morchella angusta steps, which is black morels. Typically, people who know morels know that black morels are usually the first to fruit. Often when we do our forays, when we start morel season, the first things we see are either the half-free morels or the black morels. So it's not surprising to me that looking here, that's what we're seeing. And now I want to just, let's see, I'll look at the date observed. Maybe I'll sort by that. That's a great thing about iNaturalist. So here I've sorted, so I have the earliest. Now this person really doesn't want you to know where they are or even when they found the mushroom. That's those people want to hide their spots and stuff. But in general, looking at these dates, it seems to me that March 17th is pretty much the soonest in our area that people have seen morels. I see a lot after that, not a lot, but these observations are really concentrated at the end of March, but there are a few beginning around the 17th. So that's of interest. And the ones that are a little further south in Virginia. So then back to the map. Where can we actually go? Is there anywhere we could actually go? This is curious. So I'm going to go to this one because, let's see. This is really in my stomping grounds. And I know this to be true. So Seneca Creek State Park, that is when I don't find morels super often, but that's the first place that I find them when I do find them. So I know this is true. And then in Montgomery County, there's always somebody who finds morels in Silver Spring in their backyard, and they post it every year on Facebook. Maybe they're in our group, I'm not sure. If they are, feel free to say hi. And then you see a couple from the very end. These are clearly a different species of Morel, Morchella americana. So that's all I'm going to say. I wanted to show you how this works. I don't want everyone to like suddenly descend on this dot. It doesn't mean that this is the only place that you can find Morels, but I want to generally in principle show you how you can use iNaturalist to figure out when and where you might find a mushroom. And that's about it. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right. Hearing no question.
Annie,
Go ahead,
Annie.
Alan. Yeah.
Hi, it's Alan.
Hey, Alan.
I did.
I heard you met
Hey,
my mom, Alan. I'm so excited about that. My mom was like, I met your friend. I was like, yeah.
yeah. See, this is the value of being retired. We get to meet each other. Anyway, in a class, I had a question. If we honed in on a particular area, and indeed in some months it's going to be maybe many observations, is there a way to download data filtered by what you're actually catching on iNaturalist via your filters and the map you've drawn?
That is an excellent question, and I will look into it for you, and I will get back to you all at the next meeting about that because I think
Okay.
I've never tried to download the data. I would be absolutely shocked if it is not possible because I know a big thing on iNaturalist is that they want people to use their data to do science. We may not be using it for science, we may be using it for other things, but
Yeah, but whatever.
I no, I think Alan that yeah, I would say almost definitely, but I'll help you. I can help figure out how to do that.